was gonna say.
You could make it, if you want to make it thicker, you don't have to put that much water, but it's at half to one or whatever. Half cup sugar to one. And that make it in. You sell it with the,
I don't think I ever even seen it in the store.
yeah, it's in with like the vanilla and all those sort of things. But there is maple, but I don't like the maple.
So if you use maple,
I don't like it, but it's in everybody's own opinion, I like the maple. I can't tell you what the difference is, but turn them on.
All right. It's 6 o'clock. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And again, remember to turn your microphones on until you turn your cell phones off. We'll have roll call.
Mayor Schoenberger,
Here.
Councilor Anderson,
here,
Councilor Bain,
Here.
Councilor Baker,
Here.
Councilor Dykes,
here.
Councilor Quinlan.
Here.
Everyone has a copy of the minutes of the regular meeting of September 26th. Are there any corrections? Hearing none, they stand approved as submitted. Visitors and delegations. Anybody who's not on the agenda that wants to talk? Do you want to come up and say? All right.
Thank you, Lance.
Good evening.
Hello.
Melody Christensen, I'm the Executive Director of the Brush Chamber of Commerce, and I am here tonight to thank the City of Brush for everything that you guys do for the City of Brush and for the Chamber, from blocking off streets to setting up, taking down tents, to bringing in generators, to working on tree well electricity, for financial assistance, for volunteers, for Monty's crazy ideas, for hanging banners downtown, picking up, dropping off tables and chairs, coupons for the golf course, Tyler's assistance with signs and banners, Andrea's assistance with liquor licenses, assistance with our facade grants. I don't know what else to say. You guys are amazing, and I just wanted to come tonight and thank you all for that, and to also just to present you your plaque for the City Brush for helping us out with the car show and that. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's what I would like to
Thank you for all you do, too, because you make a lot of things happen
Yeah.
very well.
give that to you guys, so.
You're welcome to stay.
Good job, Melody. Very good job.
Permission to go ashore.
Thanks again.
Thanks, Mel.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Management. A, second and final reading of ordinance number 849-16. So,
Okay, this ordinance, a little background on it, is that a couple years ago, the city council allowed for golf carts to be operated within city limits. One of the conditions at that time, there was a state law that said that golf carts could not cross state highways, so that was part of our code. So this ordinance is going to allow for golf carts now to cross state highways as the law has changed and it does allow for that. So this is a second reading and looking for this to be approved by council.
is there a motion to adopt on second reading and publish by title only?
I move that we adopt on second reading and to publish by title only, ordinance number 849-16 and ordinance amending section 8430 of Brush Municipal Code related to golf cars crossing state highways.
Second.
Second? Any further
Mr.
discussion?
Mayor, yes,
Yes.
just want to emphasize one point to the public. This is only for crossing state highways. It's not for driving
Driving on.
down the state highways.
Yes, not even angling on highways.
No, not at all.
Directly crossing.
Directly crossing. Yes. All right. Roll call vote.
Mayor Schoenberger,
Yes.
Councilor Anderson,
Yes.
Councilor Bain,
Yes.
Councilor Baker,
Yes.
Councilor Dykes,
Yes.
Councilor Quinlan.
Yes.
Number B, second and final reading of ordinance number 850-16.
Okay, this ordinance, a little background on this is that the city council over the last couple of years off and on has talked about and discussed off-highway vehicles and the ability to use those vehicles on city streets and alleys for snow removal. The first time we visited this a couple years ago, the council decided at that time not to pursue changing our code to allow the off-highway vehicles on our city streets. A couple months ago, we had the discussion again, and council directed staff to put together the ordinance so that it would allow for off-highway vehicles to be allowed on city streets and alleyways for snow removal for a 72-hour period after a snow event. So it's here for a second reading approval.
All right. Is there a motion to adopt on second reading and publish by title only?
I make a motion to adopt second and final reading of ordinance number 850-16, an ordinance amending Article 1, Part 1 of the Model Traffic Code for Colorado 2003, authorizing the operation of off-highway vehicles on city streets and alleys for snow removal.
Second.
Second, motion and second, discussion?
Yes, sir. One more emphasis. These off-highway vehicles cannot cross or operate on state highways.
They are different from golf
They're
carts.
different from golf cars, and so they're locked into the three areas of the city that are created by the state highways that pass through the city. They also cannot run down I-76. And they're authorized on city streets and alleys only in snow removal activities following a snow event.
Yes. Yeah, not recreational activities following a snow event.
Not at all.
Snow removal activities, yes. All right. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Anderson,
Yes.
Counselor Bain,
Yes.
Counselor Baker,
Yes.
Counselor Dykes,
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan,
Yes.
Mayor Schomberger.
Yes. Number C, first reading of ordinance number 851-16.
Okay, a little history on this ordinance. This is the first reading, and this pertains to a farm that the city recently purchased. It's a farm that sits directly to the east of, or in the city of Brush, on the very east side of the city of Brush. And the farm was purchased with the understanding that we would keep the farm for the near future into farming. And this is what we used to call the Bostrom Farm, and now it's one of our city farms. And at a recent city council work session, council directed staff to move forward with a lease on this property. And the lease is in front of you. It's a 5-year term, and looking for city council's approval for first reading on this lease agreement.
All right. Since it's a first reading, we need a counselor to introduce the title by, or introduce the ordinance by title.
I'll introduce ordinance number 851-16, an ordinance approving the lease of certain real estate owned by the city of Brush for a term of near 5 years.
Now, a motion to adopt on first reading and publish in full.
I'll make a motion to adopt on first reading, publish in full, ordinance number 851-16, an ordinance approving the lease of certain real estate owned by the city of Brush for a term of near 5 years.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? And roll call vote.
Counselor Bain,
Yes.
Counselor Baker,
Yes.
Counselor Dykes,
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan,
Yes.
Mayor Schomberger.
Yes.
Counselor Anderson.
Yes.
Moving on to 5D, resolution number 2016, supporting the Brush School District ballot issues.
Okay, on this resolution, a little history is, or background on it, is that a committee from the school district ballot issue 3B and 3C, they came in and presented a council a couple weeks ago, and they explained both of those ballot issues and the bond, and the city council directed staff to put together a resolution supporting the both 3B and 3C on this upcoming November's general election. And the resolution reads, whereas Brush voters will have the opportunity at the November 8th, 2016 statewide general election to protect the physical health of the Brush School District by supporting ballot issue 3B and 3C. And whereas the city council supports these ballot issues to maintain quality education in Brush, and now therefore it be resolved by the council of the city of Brush, Colorado, support for ballot issue 3B and ballot issue 3C, and urges the citizens to vote in favor of these for the benefit of the Brush School District and future for the children of Brush. Passed and adopted and approved at a regular meeting of the City Council of Brush on October 10th, 2016.
Thank you for reading all that, too. Is there a motion to,
I move that we adopt resolution number 2016 supporting the Brush School District ballot issues 3B and 3C.
Second?
second, discussion? I think as everybody found out last time, it's really an important thing and needs to be done, so thank you all. All right, vote, roll call vote.
Counselor Baker,
Yes.
Counselor Dykes.
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan,
Yes.
Mayor Schomburger.
Yes.
Counselor Anderson,
Yes.
Counselor Bain.
Yes.
5E, contract between the City of Brush and the State of Colorado for state highway maintenance.
Every so many years, we do contracts with the State Highway, Colorado Department of Transportation to do some, what I describe as limited maintenance on the streets going through, the highways going through the City of Brush. And our Public Works Department, they're kind of charged with that duty of snow removal, providing sand and some limited maintenance. And we discussed this at the last month, or the last meeting with City Council. Council directed staff to put this contract on the agenda for this evening, and it's here for your approval. And it's for a term of 5 years, and during those 5 years, we just track what our expenses truly are, and then we renegotiate after 5 years.
Is there a motion for this contract?
I make a motion, we approve the contract between the City of Brush and the State of Colorado for state highway maintenance.
Second.
Is that motion and second, discussion?
One point from me, there is a provision in this contract that calls for a specific payment of X amount of dollars per lane miles. I don't remember the number, but there is a reimbursement provision in there already.
Roll call vote?
Counselor Dykes.
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan,
Yes.
Mayor Schomburger.
Yes.
Counselor Anderson,
Yes.
Counselor Bain.
Yes.
Counselor Baker.
Yes.
5F, final settlement with Ransom Boone Excavating on the Mill Street project. Joanne?
Yes, council may recall Ransom Boone Excavating was the contractor that did the water line over on Mill Street, and is typical with these projects that are of a large dollar value. Before we pay out the final settlement and final retainage, we usually do a final settlement in the paper. So this has been advertised 2 times in the local paper. Anyone having a claim against that project had until 5 p.m. this afternoon to turn anything in for a final settlement claim, and we had no one step forward or come in. And so at this time, we're asking that council approve final settlement to Ransom Boone. And that was part of the bills this evening that you'll be signing off on as well.
Okay. Thank you. Is there a motion for that effect?
I move that we approve the final bill to Ransom Boone Excavating for the Mill Street project.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion? Roll call vote?
Counselor Quinlan,
Yes.
Mayor Schomburger.
Yes.
Counselor Anderson,
Yes.
Counselor Bain.
Yes.
Counselor Baker.
Yes.
Counselor Dykes.
Yes.
Moving down to finance.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve disbursements and payroll from September 26th through October 10th of 2016 totaling $340,943.49.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion? And roll call vote?
Mayor Schomburger.
Yes.
Counselor Anderson.
Yes.
Counselor Bain.
Yes.
Counselor Baker.
Yes.
Counselor Dykes.
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan.
Yes.
Moving on to finance part B, 2017 proposed budget.
Okay, in your package, each council member received a draft budget. This draft budget is required by the state for us to present to council. So you have this budget. There still are some pieces that still need to come together. So it's kind of the bare bones set of budget sheets that you're going to get. And then remember that we're going to have another council meeting where we're going to come in with all of the capital requests, the larger requests. Those will come in and be reviewed by council. And then on November 14th, City Council will have a council retreat that evening after the regular council session to go over the budget and fine-tune everything there before it's approved in December.
All right, thank you. Staff reports, finance, Joanne.
I have nothing this evening.
Police, Travis.
Okay, I have a couple things, and we'll start with the really good stuff. Each one of the police department members have now engaged in their community project, ranging a whole gamut of range of stuff they're going to do. And we even was able to get another volunteer, Andrea. She's participating in some of our community projects. The trumpet with
Oh, yes.
with the little kids and
We
stuff.
played
So
our trumpet for the fifth graders.
yeah.
Great.
Donations for our canine, this week we got about $850 in donations for our canine program from the community. Let's see, the Oktoberfest. So everything went fairly well for the police department. I think we had a couple of kids, they were shooting those little airsoft guns and hit a couple of the patrons, but we was able to address that. And then a more pressing issue was the swimsuit and the bikini advertising. Unfortunately, under the law, there wasn't a whole lot that we could do as a police department. It would be more of maybe a licensing type issue. That was pretty much it for the police department.
All right, thank you. And thank you for the great report, too. It's great to have all this going on.
Yes.
So, thanks. Parks and Recreation. Okay. Utilities, Public Works, Dale.
Just that we've got the crews out, patching potholes, trying to get ready for winter, and survive another one. Other than that, I have nothing.
Okay. City Clerk, Andrea.
I have nothing to report, just encourage everyone to get registered to vote. November 8th is our election day. Not for the city, but
Yes.
everybody else.
And in City Administrator.
Okay, a few items. First, I was gonna mention that there are discussions going on right now between the city of Brush and Verizon in regards to a cell phone tower / light tower here in the city of Brush. It's just at the very beginning phases of it. Our city attorney, Bo Chapin, as well as Ken Fellman, who we've used in the past, they're gonna be looking at a lease template. And then we'll be bringing that into council here in the near future for council to look at. So it's an exciting opportunity for the city of Brush. On the community development end of things, a lot of activity right now. We currently have 3 homes being built in Brush. We've had a lull for a number of years, but 3 of them being built over on Howell Avenue as we speak. We have 2 other duplexes that are being proposed and discussed as well. We have temporary workforce housing, and a complete application has been submitted, and that's being reviewed by staff tomorrow, and you'll hear about that on a near future council agenda. We also have anticipated from Converge a special use permit for out at the old prison site, and that's for a day treatment center of some type. We have a Tesla station that we have a permit waiting for them, which we think that'll be out by the end of this week. So we're excited about that. We have the old Sigmund pork plant that's being converted into a cheese factory. They have a partial permit, it's for all of their construction. This one happens to be concrete to do a big pad for their milk delivery. And we also have Ebenezer, their large expansion. That large expansion, the first set of plans have been reviewed and comments have been sent to the Ebenezer's consultants, and so we're just waiting for responses from them on those items. And also, the last word that we received from Love's is that around March of 2017 is when they anticipate putting their project out to bid. So very, very busy in Brush.
Very busy, and that's a good thing. It's a very good thing. All right, council reports. Anybody have any?
I went to the sobriety court reception, and I'll give you a little bit of an overview about what it was like. It's put on by County Court Judge Michael Shingle, and if you've never been in front of him, he's the perfect person to do this, because he's kind of like our version of Harry S. Stone. If you remember Night Court, $50 time served, very personable. The way it's conducted is that the 8 people who are on the panel sit around with the defendant. And so it's a little bit different than a conventional court, but it is held in the courtroom. The 8 people are made up of the judge, his clerk, prosecutor, I think there was a defense attorney there from the public defender's office. Our representative for law enforcement has been Garrett Hackett. The reason that we were invited, and the judge asked me specifically to come back and ask if someone else could be trained and sit in, so that when he goes to late nights or other shifts, that somebody else could also sit in for law enforcement. And I think that's a nice honor that we were asked as the law enforcement agency to have an officer. Anyway, this is a very popular takeoff. Sobriety court has been very popular. It's voluntary. And the purpose of it is really to prevent the revolving door. Guy gets a DUI, goes to court, goes to jail, pays a fine. Sometime later, he's back, and on and on. And the whole point is try to get into a deeper look at the alcohol use of the individual. They use incentives like gift cards and an attaboy, and everybody's very positive. And they can even, the judge can even take days off of the person's sentence. And I forgot to tell you too, when I was talking about the panel of people, it also includes people from Centennial Mental Health and the Department of Human Services, and some local dignitaries or officials are sometimes included to sit in. There isn't a provision at this time for felony, the felony district court side. They didn't talk about whether that was down the road or what might happen. I think the whole point of this is to prevent, that. At this particular reception, Judge Hoyer did come in, and he was part of the anniversary party. This was an 18-month anniversary party, so it's not an inception, and I hadn't heard of it before. I don't know if you guys all knew about it. This was the first I had heard about it. But the money for the inception was by a grant, and I don't know how that the funding is going at this point. They didn't really talk about that, or if the person who sat in from our agency would be paid. I don't know that. Is that no?
Yeah, it's all volunteer.
Okay. Well, we thank him for doing that, and anybody else who might want to do it. It's 2 Thursdays a month, and it took about an hour, so I'm hopeful that somebody else will want to. I guess that's all. Were there any questions about it?
One thing I'd like to point out too is that studies are showing that the recidivism rate for sobriety court are less than they are for traditional court, and the cost is less too. So it's an exciting prospect, I think.
Yeah, I saw that as a strength as well. It is also very popular with people that, there's a waiting list, and people came from Sterling because they couldn't go to that court that day, but they make allowances for people's, and to accommodate everybody's schedules to try to fit people in up here. And the original model was from Fremont County. So it's been around, and they're also trying to generalize to other courts like drug court, parenting court, some other types of problems. The only limitation I really saw that some of the people who were there that day, it kind of gave me the impression that it was a little bit heavy-handed with authority. But, because they were a little bit standoffish, the volunteers who came in, but, you know, they participated, so looks like to me it'll be a takeoff, and it's gone on for 18 months, so I hope that it continues.
Was it an actual hearing or a mock hearing?
We saw the actual hearings.
Okay, I thought,
And so there were, I believe, there was one woman and 4 or 5 men who, and one guy didn't show up. They have to actually show up because this is in place of their normal hearings, and he didn't show up, and Judge Shingle put out a warrant. So if they do decide to go this route voluntarily, they do still have to do the work. There's some journaling that goes on and some guidance that they have, that the folks have as to how to complete their program. So, anyway, I was very impressed, and I was glad to help Judge Shingle, because he's you all know Judge Shingle, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep, he's a great guy, so.
Great
yep.
guy, yeah,
Yep.
so
Thank
he'll make
you.
it work, I think.
Yep, thank you, that's a great report.
I want to
Thank
thank Dale and Lance for helping the Brush High School. We held our cross-country meet, our first home meet, and we were able to use, we started at Beaver Valley, and we used the disc golf course, and then we ran out on the golf course. And Dale helped me with the map, and Lance let us use the mule, the city mule, and it takes a lot of people to put on an event like that, and we just appreciate everybody that helped us, so thanks, guys.
Vicky, how many people showed up to that one event?
As far as,
I guess entrance.
entrance, we had 11 schools there. I believe there were like, maybe 98 high school girls that ran, and in the boys, there might have been like 110 boys that ran.
Yeah, then all their
Parents.
people
And
watching and
then
everything.
spectators, yeah.
Yeah, it's bringing in a lot of people into the
Yeah.
community. It's really good.
So, yeah, it was a lot of people there.
Yeah.
So, thanks. We again, we can't pull that off by ourselves. We had, a lot of community members help, faculty help, other athletic teams helped, and so it's great. I like how the community pulled together for that and helps us get that done.
Vicki, did the area, Fort Morgan, Waldona, Wiggins, did they come?
No, it was only a league meet, so it was only those in the Patriot League.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Is there,
In that, it also shows off your town quite well. People were going from Beaver Valley, and we were walking back and forth from the starting line to the finish line of the golf course and around. And it showed off a lot of good area there around the Watchers Disc Golf Course and everything.
Yeah.
Everybody complimented on the scenery and the uniqueness of the paths.
Right. So yeah, it was an unusual. It was I like the course because a lot of the meets we go to, we loop. We have to run 2 loops.
Yeah.
And some of the kids don't like that. And personally, I don't like running loops. I want to just run a distance, and so it was. I thought the design of it was good. And again, if we've always wanted to run on the golf course, but we've never gotten permission, and we finally got permission. So that was awesome.
we had to buy it to get permission.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey, thanks. Whatever it takes.
but it worked. right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think we were good as far as, staying off greens. A lot of the race was on the cart paths. We ran on some fairways, but I think we pretty much avoided
It was
the
really cool,
greens.
too. I was up on the deck watching it for a little bit, and just the parents running from location to location to
Yeah.
teach their kids
Yeah.
and everything. It is a really nice venue to have.
Yeah.
So, I thought it went really well, and the restaurant benefited from it greatly after the race was over.
Yes.
And stuff, so, it was a win-win for both sides.
Yeah, that's true. When your kid's in cross-country, the parents get to work out too, because they do have to
Yeah.
run from place to
Yeah.
place, so it's a family affair.
And you like it instead of it being a big course, they go down and come back, so you don't have to run very far to see them come back. Yeah.
Right.
Vicky's at a 5K course?
Yes. 5K.
Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
We are adjourned.
I just need 1 minute.
All right.